Just as congressional hurt feelings seem to be mending over the leak of Leon Panetta as CIA chief before those members knew about it, now we have reports of objections within the agency. What, they didn't see this coming? Our third story tonight, why are some CIA insiders grumbling about Leon Panetta? To start with, the Los Angeles Times reporting that Richard Clark, former counterterror advisor to Presidents Bush and Clinton, turned down the job, as did unspecified others. What Clark has and Panetta lacks, formal official experience in the intelligence community, is fueling some of the CIA dissent, but for widely varying reasons. Panetta is not a total novice to intelligence, nor the CIA. In addition to his tenure as a member of Congress and his military service and his membership in the Iraq Study Group, Panetta, of course, served as chief of staff to Mr. Clinton, involved in every national security decision and participating in the daily intelligence briefings he was given by the CIA. Former agency deputy director for Eastern Europe, Milt Bearden, told foreignpolicy.com that the appointment was, quote, brilliant, but one CIA veteran said, quote, they put over there a guy who is a political loyalist who will keep everything nice and quiet, but who won't know a good piece of intelligence from an SE piece of intelligence. Another veteran raises a different objection from a different direction. In a large number of rank and file, the reaction has been overwhelmingly negative. These are people who are sweating blood every day to make things happen and living for the day that somebody is going to come in, institute real reform, and turn the CIA into the vital, effective organization it should be. To them, this choice just says business as usual. Let's bring in another CIA veteran, Tyler Drumheller, a former case officer, head of European operations, and author of On the Brink, an insider's account of how the White House compromised American intelligence. Great thanks again for your time tonight, sir.
Thank you, Keith.
Do either of these criticisms resonate with you, that either that Panetta won't be able to tell the good from the bad intel, or that he will not have the insights that he needs to overhaul this place, and thus it'll be business as usual?
Well, I know both Sam and Milt, and they're both very good guys, but I think that Panetta will be a good choice. They haven't had a senior official as the director of the CIA for a long time, and the people who are worried about morale and how this will affect things are probably at the senior level. I think the rank and file people in the service will be happy to have someone who has real influence in Washington. They really haven't had that since Casey was there. So I think that'll make a big difference.
The idea that he does not speak their language and would end up sitting in an office and talking on the phone and nothing changes, is that a fair concern? How does Panetta prevent that, or the perception of that?
Well, Panetta will be the director. I doubt if he's going to sit in the office and just talk on the phone. And he will have people around him who will interpret what people are saying to him. But people act like you can only understand this business if you've been part of it for 30 years. All of these people come into it new at some point and have to learn. And Panetta's a smart guy. He's had a lot of experience in it. And he's going to bring new ideas, particularly in the budget area, because that's one area that hasn't been talked about. The CIA budget process is a total mess, and it's one of the biggest problems they have. And Panetta could maybe really make a change there.
Is any of this internal backlash, do you think, plain old sort of butt-covering fear that an external guy, or at least somebody who's perceived that way, not a career person, not somebody promoted from within, is more likely than the other kind to out, if you will, anybody who might have been involved in torture or renditioning in the last 8 years?
I think at the very senior levels, that's probably, and that's why he's going to have, that's probably the case. And he's going to have to look very carefully at who he picks to be his deputy and the people that are around him, because he's going to need somebody that isn't closely tied to this, because either they're going to have problems or they're going to spend all their time explaining to him why what they did was all right. I think in the rank and file, again, I don't think that's a big problem. There are people there that really want to get on with their jobs. But the people on the 7th floor, the management structure of the agency, it's not just Panetta. They're going to look at the reasons that John Brennan didn't get the job and say, well, the same thing applies to me, so what's going to keep whoever gets in there from taking a look at me? And the secret is, when he gets in, is he's just going to have to, if I were him, I would just say, look, that's what's past is past. We've got to move forward. Look and see if there are any real serious problems and fix those, but then and then start out what Sam Faddis said in his comment is true. There are real serious changes that need to be made.
Well, finally, contextualize the criticism. Has there ever not been some internal criticism of the incoming director? I mean, wasn't George H.W. Bush criticized, and John McCone and Helms and Dulles and everybody else?
Everybody's been criticized since that I can remember back. There's always someone who doesn't like it. Casey was too close to Reagan. Webster didn't understand anything because he came from the FBI. you're never going to be perfect. What you want is somebody who has integrity, who's a good administrator. I think Panetta will restore integrity to the intel process. That's really important. And the rest of it, you know, just get on with the job, basically.
Yeah, you have to have that focus on who the actual enemy is. It's not people working elsewhere in the building. Tyler Drumheller, formerly of the CIA, author of On the Brink, an insider's account of how the White House compromised American intelligence. As always, we appreciate your perspective, sir.
Thanks, Keith.